Podcast listeners, I'm Dan.
And I'm Ian.
This is the Lifestyle Business Podcast where we believe a business can get you to the lifestyle that you desire. Is that what we believe today?
I think that's about what we believe. I think it's something different every day, but that sounds pretty good today.
How passionate are we about business?
It's our 24-hour-a-day approach.
Yeah, it's like the work-life, no-balance approach to awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 4-hour work week plus about 200 hours.
Okay, here's what today we're going to talk about. Stop fucking watching Lost. And this is
Thank you, Gary V.
Gary V. cracks. I mean, I exploded with delight when he said, basically, I think the question is like, how do you do business if you don't have any time and if you don't have any money? And his response, like screaming at the top of his lungs, is stop fucking watching Lost.
Right.
It doesn't cost any money to start a business. You just need to work your tail off. You need to put the hours in. And so we've got
pay attention. It costs nothing.
It costs not pay attention, exactly. And it's about a hustle. So it's about hustling. So we pulled together four quick approaches that help us approach our business with passion, and inspiration. I know I'm just sounding really upbeat today. What's going on with you? What are you doing over there in San Diego, I presume?
Today was a big day for us. We had some annual reviews. We're winding down for the year.
Uh-huh.
So we've been going over the financials for this year, and I think we talked a little bit about that last show, and we had some pretty good growth this year. Gave out some bonuses, and looking forward to next year.
It's okay to repeat what you said on previous episodes, because my mom, she's totally cool with hearing things twice. So it's no problem. Hey, you didn't give me a bonus.
The reason I didn't give you a bonus is you didn't ask for it.
God damn. And that's a good business lesson, too. For anybody on the other end, if you don't ask, you're probably not going to get it.
That's right. That's right.
Are you giving yourself a bonus?
This year, we'll have to see how we actually end up at the end of the year, but I don't see why not. We've been plugging away for a long time, and I'm thinking about getting off the canned beans and actually going down the street to the Mexican restaurant and being served to me next year, hopefully. So
okay, topic, discuss. I want the Android 2. Is that a smart thing for me to want right now?
You know what, man? I am so out of the loop on this Android thing.
Okay.
So I'm probably the wrong guy to ask. I mean, I'm into my iPhone, and maybe I'm just getting a little older, but the thought of switching platforms right now is it's overwhelming.
Well,
got this podcast going, got a couple business ventures, I just, the thought of bringing an Android into my life is it's too much.
There's an issue for the world travelers on the docket here. They'll know what I'm talking about with the iPhone. If you decide to crack your iPhone, and it's a little bit more difficult to crack the 3GS, you basically sacrifice your iTunes and App Store integration. And for me, as like a radio listener, like I'm huge into my iTunes account and everything. That's unacceptable. So I actually don't crack my iPhone and carry a local telephone as well. So the promise of the Android is that, of course, there's not the direct iTunes integration, but the promise is that I could use it as a complete solution. And so that's interesting to me. Also, I've heard about the Google Apps integration where they sync your contacts across every platform, including like Facebook, Twitter, your telephone address book. I think that's pretty interesting. Yeah. Of course,
and,
it doesn't sound very... You sound excited right now, I could tell.
Well, one thing that I'd be interested in is... the Android's going to run on... is it going to run on the Verizon network? I don't know about that.
How about you have our guy look it up?
Yeah. Hey, guy, look it up.
The guy's on your end.
Anyways, there was that article that came out this week on AT&T, And I've been a loyal Verizon customer. Just to kind of go off on a tangent here, I've been a loyal Verizon customer in the United States for the past 10 years. And when the iPhone came out, I said, well, I got to get that. So I guess I'm going to jump ship. But man, I couldn't be. The service is just horrible. Let's be honest. Yeah, I'm just not happy with it.
All right. So it's out there. It's live. Mr. Ian is not into AT&T. You do not recommend AT&T.
They're nice enough, good customer service, but pull it together, guys. You got you got the most popular phone on your network, and you put out a statement saying that the data that the data is killing you guys. As far as bandwidth. Pull it together. Like, you didn't see this coming, right?
Well, apparently they didn't. One of the interesting things about the iPhone, and the reason I love it, is, over top of you used to rock a Palm or a BlackBerry user, iPhone users use the internet like 11 times more time. How amazing is that? You hear BlackBerry users like making all their apologies, like my syncs with my Outlook or whatever. Why the hell, first off, would anybody want to sync with Outlook? I mean, maybe by all means I'm going to get some hate mail for that, but come on, get on the Gmail already. The second thing is fucking Outlook. You don't use Outlook, do you?
No, I don't use Outlook, but it works for some people.
The second thing, the second thing about these BlackBerry users is that you can't surf the internet. I mean,
that's true.
It's awful. It's crap. So I think what's interesting is, like, if you look at smartphone data pre iPhone, there's really no precedent to be able to judge. Like, how would you ever guess an 11-fold increase? And that doesn't maybe even account for the app usage.
Well, I could have guessed it. I mean, I used to have a Trio, and when I picked up the iPhone, I started using the internet all the time. So, 3 or 4 years ago when the iPhone came out, I could have predicted that people were going to be surfing the net all the time.
I'll tell you what I started using all the time is Paper Toss, and I want to see someone forward me the YouTube video or somewhere, the guys who rigged this to get like 7,000 in a row.
Yeah, I'm thinking they got to put like templates on the front of their iPhone or something.
There's some kind of masking tape. In fact, that might not be a bad business to sell these templates.
It's a little discouraging though, because when you see scores like that, I just don't even want to play anymore. It's like, well, I'm never gonna beat that.
All right, so we've got 4 ways that you can approach your business with passion and inspiration, and the reason that that's important is because our surmission, our idea here is that it's going to become a huge part of your life. You've got to put in the hours and build a real asset, build something. If you don't have a bunch of money already, it's going to take some sweat, so to speak. So how do we pour that sweat into it? What's the first one, Ian?
Okay, well, if you don't have a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a loved one, this is probably going to be your life. So get ready, right?
Yeah.
And use your business to achieve your personal goals. Spending, traveling, lifestyle.
Right, so a couple things that come to mind with that is, number 1, expense account. Booyakasha.
Absolutely.
It's pretty nice, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Year-end, writing stuff off, it's great.
Yeah, I think, it's not, first off, like, an expense account isn't everything it's chalked up to be, but it's just nice to know that things that, experiences that you might have had otherwise would have to pay on taxed income, now you can chalk it up as an expense to your business. So I think that that's a big advantage, especially for people the lines are starting to blur a little bit,
Sure, money is money. If you don't have it to spend at your business or on a personal level, you're not getting on the plane, but it is nice to be able to get on the plane and expense it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you shouldn't be spending more, but tonight, for example, I'm going to be meeting for dinner with my colleagues, and that's a business expense. And that's nice because I don't have to pay like 35% tax on that and then re-spend it again for dinner. Instead, that's coming out of the business because it's related to our business. And to me, that's a nice little perk.
Sure.
Another example of using your business to achieve personal goals is, I'm here in the Philippines outsourcing our web development and web marketing. Now, I guarantee you, we might have a couple Filipino employees, but like we wouldn't have such an aggressive presence here if that weren't directly tied in with my passion to live in Asia.
Yeah, that's right.
And last year the listeners know that I spent a lot of time in Vietnam and Cambodia, and I've been all around China, and I'm using the two in concert together to achieve both business aims and travel goals. So,
And it works both ways, right? So the lines kind of get blurred.
yeah, I think our business can leverage my passion. Otherwise, we might be doing the same thing, but we might have had to hire a consultant, for example. And so that would just be a greater expense for our business, and my passion would be directed towards something else, maybe networking in San Diego or going to design conferences in the U.S. or whatever it is. But instead, we're leveraging as a business my passion for travel, allowing me to be here, expense all these crazy expenses, and it's a kind of a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, and Asia is extremely inexpensive, so it works out for everyone.
It works out for everyone. It really does, and I think it's a lesson. The takeaway for me is that if you have a real passion for something, in my case, that's expatriation and travel, go for it. Don't ever consider it as a liability, because if you tap into that fire, that fuel, it's going to end up being something that fuels your business. And you need to get involved with an organization that can take advantage of those passions. So that's the kind of takeaway of that first point for me.
Good. The second point?
Aim big. Use the business as a vehicle. And I know there's a term you use a lot you call it as a business platform. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think when we talk about aiming big, I think it's I also like to use visualization techniques. And we've talked about some of this before, but picturing a warehouse full of your goods, or picturing an inbox with 50 emails, or 50 orders.
Right.
And really using your business to get you where you want to be, to get you where you think you'll be in 3 years.
The only permission, there's something about the business world that's different from the rest of the world, in my mind, is that there are no rules and there are no mores. All it is there's a market, and they decide whether you win or not. And so you don't have to ask permission from anybody. You just show up and act big and go big, and that can change your whole life. You don't have to get a certification. You don't have to go to the right school, and you don't have to know the right people. And
there are no rules, and I think that's a really important point to recognize, is that if you want to aim big, don't set yourself up for failure earlier on by setting up rules and restrictions and obeying gatekeepers. I mean, really aim big.
Number 3, demand excellence and upgrade your personal circle as an entrepreneur. Work with excellent people. And use your business as a platform to find great partners, new friends, interns, and employees. That's a long point.
It is, but I think what you're trying to say is, get yourself out there with this stuff. It's super fun. It's super fun to start engaging with people that are interested in what you're interested in, and I think you meet a lot of really like-minded people in business, and it's really cool to come across people. I mean, we met through business, and ended up being good friends as well. But I think using your business as a way to meet interesting people is awesome, and that's something that you do a lot of abroad even.
I mean, you know what? It's no business card can compare to actually having done something significant. And let's roll up the first 3 points together. If your business is involved in your passion, if you're aiming big, like the networking opportunities, the opportunities to upgrade your social circle and get involved with other people who are big-time doers and people who are showing up is incredible. I mean, look, we got a guy like Sean Ogle is going to become our intern, and only because we started a business, we accomplished something big, we infused it with passion and vision. So you get things like interns, like great people will work for you for very cost-effective rates, at least to begin with, and that's a huge a huge opportunity. On the other end, I met with two. We have to do a podcast on this experience. Definitely hung out with two entrepreneurs who were both worth over $10 million, and it was an incredible evening hanging out with these guys, picking their brains. And, my calling card to be at that table, the only reason that I got the invite, the only reason that I was accepted into the conversation was that I have this mindset where, and I have this business. And that was my in to really hanging out with exceptionally interesting people that I admire greatly. So
You're a pretty nice guy too. I mean,
yeah, and I think I ended up.
it's got to count for something. Right?
They might have been drunk too. I don't know. Number 4, be yourself in your niche. Open your business and yourself to your customers.
Very, 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 very important. I made the comment earlier off the show, which is, don't sell diet pills if you've been skinny your whole life and you've never been on a diet before and you don't know what you don't know the first thing about diet pills and dieting, right? So, I mean, if you've got some kind of insider information or you feel really qualified to do it, go for it. But in most cases, I think people tend to be more successful in things that they are comfortable with and things that hit close to home,
Yeah.
And it really allows you to be more of yourself when you can talk about things that you're comfortable about talking about.
If you're constantly battling with a sense of like discontinuity, if you're constantly battling like, is this really me? Like, am I really posturing here? If you just can't like let your hair down and talk to your customers like straight up, it wears on you. And if it takes, you're not going to build $1 million business in 6 months, so you're going to have to be at it for a couple years. You really want something where you can open up those personal afterburners and express yourself. Like for me, for example, I'm a little like of a kookier kind of guy, and I like to make little jokes and maybe a little off color at times. And part of the reason I could never work a corporate job, I never lasted in a corporation more than 6 months, and I had to end up working at medium and small size businesses that, the kinds of businesses that would be accepting of a crazy new idea, for example. And because I'm going to have one every week, and I'm going to want to tell it to people in colorful language, and I'm going to want to swear occasionally, and that's just the way it's going to be. And what's the point of me suffering through a situation where I would have to, not let my personal colors shine through? To me, it's just not worth it. It'd have to be a pretty incredible payout, but it's not a sustainable approach.
Not at all, and it doesn't make for building very strong or trusting relationships.
I mean, one of the themes in all this is that I think it's very true that people want to do business with their friends, and
absolutely.
And if you want to make friends, you can't be a big fat phony, right? You have to be real, and you just got to put yourself out there. And if people don't like you, that's cool. At least you're showing the elements that other people can then latch onto to like you. If you're being so guarded that no one has access, then you're not going to make friends.
Exactly.
Word. So those are our 4 points on just some things to think about as you approach, if you're identifying a niche or you're trying to figure out like what's the kind of the attunement you want to take in your business. I think those are some fun points, and they're ones that keep me working hard for our business. Especially number 1 is that like the ways in which we've managed to combine our business with our personal goals is that our business has been the enabler, the vehicle for me to realize some of my biggest passions in life. It's an important point for me. If you would have told me 5 years ago that, hey, like you can start a business that is going to like enable you, like actually pay for you to travel the world while you work, like.
And you earn equity?
My like brain would have exploded against the wall. Like I just would have been like, that's not possible. Work is work, and it's not. It's not at all.
Times are changing.
Times are changing. Technology is changing, and also like entrepreneurship is an option that I didn't fully understand at that time. The opportunity that is ownership. And so like you said, your business starts to look like you, like your dog, right? So in my case, like our business looks like a crazy traveling jalopy global nomad ship, part of it at least, and we're all tied together by Basecamp and Skype, and that's how we roll, because that's me. And that's really exciting stuff. I didn't think that was possible 5 years ago. So
it is exciting, and I think people should really get comfortable with that. I think at first we weren't necessarily comfortable with that, and it almost seemed like a little bit showboaty,
Yeah.
that you're able to do this. But this is the way it is. I mean, you see something and you go for it, and that's what we mean by aiming big, using your business as a vehicle, visualizing, achieving goals. I mean, this is all stuff that you just have to put your mind to, and you have to not be embarrassed about it, and you have to understand that a lot of people are really successful, and a lot of people take great joy and passion, I know that we do, in steering the ship and taking control of their business and their life, and using their business as a way to control their life. So,
rock on. Quick tip, at the end of the episode, I've got a new post over at Tropical MBA where I am obsessing more about Gary Vaynerchuk, so go check that out. Also, follow me on Twitter. I love it, at Tropical MBA. That's me. We're going to be back tomorrow with another lifestyle business podcast. What are we going to be talking about tomorrow?
We're going to be talking about all kinds of cool stuff.
It's going to be incredible. It's going to be unbelievable.
Until then.
Thanks for giving me a ring, Ian.
Talk to you then.
Hey, podcast listeners. Thanks for joining us. Always good to have you. Don't be shy. We've got a mailing list, lifestylebusinesspodcast.com. Get signed up and